Afternoon, Kate. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. And yourself?
Kate, I am absolutely brilliant. Thanks very much. Welcome to the Business Spotlight. Thanks very much for taking the time to speak with me today. Could we start, Kate? Could you tell me a little about yourself, your background, and your business, please?
Yes, no problem at all. So I am Kate Spears and I own Ivory Pearl Bridal Boutique, which is based in Cumber. I've owned it now for 12 years and we sell wedding dresses that I like to think are a little bit more modern, not just your traditional wedding dresses. And I try to source wedding dresses that are new to Northern Ireland and sometimes new even to Ireland or the UK.
So how do you know? I should have done some in-depth research on this. Yeah. So my research has basically consisted of getting married once, and watching my wife say yes to the dress. So that's the extent. So how do you differentiate yourself from the other bridal boutiques in Northern Ireland?
Say Yes to the Dress is banned in my house because my husband can't listen to any more wedding chat than he already does. So all our designers you can't buy in any other shop in Northern Ireland. And a handful of our designers you can't buy in any other shop in Ireland. And I try really, really hard to find new and emerging designers that are new to Northern Ireland, Ireland and the UK, as I say. So yeah, we just try to source dresses that are a little bit different and yeah, and I'm biased, but I think they're really beautiful, I have to say.
And Kate, is this what you always wanted to do?
No, definitely not. People ask me that all the time, and to be honest, I definitely wasn't that little girl growing up dreaming of her wedding. And I honestly never even thought about my wedding until I got engaged. I did business studies, and after I got married myself, I thought to myself, there's a gap in the market here for wedding dresses that are just a little bit different. And back then I had a mortgage of I think £300 a month and thought now's the time to save all my pennies and open up. So that's what I did. And yeah, no looking back.
And what was it when was it when you were out visiting bridal shops that you spotted something, or what was it? What was the spark?
Yes, I suppose back I'm married now 14 years. So whenever I was looking at wedding dresses, it was all just the same, nothing different. And really the variety of dresses in each of the shops, in my opinion, wasn't what I was looking for. So I actually ended up going to London in the end, and some of those designers I thought should be in Ireland. So I then told my husband, I'm thinking of a wedding dress shop. And the next thing I was in London, came home and I said, so I've bought those wedding dresses. And he was like, Jeepers, Kate, where's the business plan? I thought, there's no business plan. We're just going with it. And I suppose the last 12 years have been a bit like that too. I've just gone with my gut. And probably there's no, Excel sheet for anything. My husband loves an Excel sheet. I should really get some Excel sheets in place. But luckily we have to, luckily we do really well. The girls are amazing in the shop and we have chosen the right dresses. So we're quite lucky that way.
And what would you say has been your biggest lesson since being a business owner?
So as a business owner, you learn so much from all different scenarios. And I would like to think I've dealt with most now, but I'd have to say my biggest lesson for me is always that I can't do it all myself. And delegating is such a big thing. And also having people that are better than you around you. I'm so fortunate to work with two great girls, Catherine and Kat, who are just so much better than me in so many ways. And we just have such a good day's crack as well in the shop. And they help me with photo shoots, choosing dresses, and they can even model the dresses as well. So yes, that would be definitely a lesson for me, was probably employ sooner rather than later.
That's a great lesson. And what would you say? What about yourself? What have you learned about yourself over the last 12 years or so?
I think probably I have learned that I'm quite resilient. Having a business and being a woman in business can be difficult. Having children, now I have four kids, and there's no such thing as a maternity really whenever you're self-employed. And there's no switch off either. I think that's just a lot of people though. Your emails are on your phone now. It's quite difficult. So I probably would say I'm quite resilient. I'm able to um just work through anything and work nonstop if I have to.
And who's influenced you along the way? Whenever you reflect back and think of the last sort of 12 years since launching the business, who's influenced you the most along the way?
I have to say, actually, the bridal world is a lovely world to work in. Um, every time I go to New York or London, or we get to go to a few nice places, all the other bridal boutiques are honestly so nice. Um, it's great to have them. If I need a chat or need to run something by them, they'll always be there. I have to say, Leander from Forever Bridal and Cecilia from Heart of Flutter, they are always there if I need them on hand for anything, and I chat to them most days. But also Philip being of Shredbank, if it wasn't for him, I started working for him whenever I was at university doing social work, and he suggested that I change my degree to business studies and offered me a full-time job if I did so, which I did. And yes, he's been also offering me such great advice over the years too.
And other than 4 kids, what gets you out of bed in the morning, springing out of bed, and drives your passion for your business?
Well, I don't think I ever spring out of bed, to be honest. I love to be productive. I love a to-do list. I always love something to work on. I love ticking off those things on my to-do list too. So I love also, aside from business, I love tennis. I love holidays. I love planning trips, so I just love getting up and getting things done. And the the joy of having a business is you can do so many different things. No day is the same. I sometimes think to myself, where am I? Doing photo shoots in derelict buildings, and getting to meet photographers and makeup artists and hairdressers, and looking at the marketing side of things with TikTok and Instagram. Every day is just so different, and I love that actually.
And in the unlikely event that you found yourself on a desert island and you were able to choose a podcast or a book or both, what would you be reading or listening to?
So I probably haven't read too many books recently, but I love a podcast called How I Built This with Guy Raz. He interviews lots of different business owners such as Airbnb, Soul Cycle, Ben and Jerry's, The Away Suitcases, and just listening to how they started, just how much work that went into it, and just being lucky sometimes, who you meet at certain times. And it's a really good podcast to listen to, actually.
Very good. I made a note of that one. I like that. And what would you say? What's the biggest challenge that you're currently facing in your business?
So probably right now is nobody's thinking of their wedding dress. They're all starting to think about Christmas. Everyone now, we go into our quiet season, and the majority of our week is made up from appointments. So when appointments just get a wee bit quieter for this season, you have to start forward planning. So we're having to think now about what social media we're going to do. We're actually thinking some of our charity events that we'd like to do next year, and different ways that we can market the business too. But it's quite hard because you're used to doing so many appointments per week. So we have to sit down and not just chat about what we did at the weekend, and actually plan for the new year.
And is the business solely revolve around appointments, or do you get many walk-ins?
No, we're actually appointment based. So you just
Okay.
book an appointment and then come in. So no walk-ins. I think you sort of need to prepare, and also booking a wedding dress appointment, you have to get the gang together. So you tend to book it, 1 to 3 weeks out, and make a day of it. Go for coffee, lunch.
Yeah, my lack of knowledge in this is becoming apparent the longer we go on. But hey, I'm going to keep going. I'm going to keep going. So, if you could invite any 3 people, alive or dead, to a dinner party, who would you invite?
To be honest, I would have to say any business owner, for me, it would have to be the likes of Richard Branson, Simon Cowell, Karen Brady. I just love hearing their story. I love hearing how they got where they are, and just anything to do with business, where they've been, what their business involves, everything like that.
And if you could go back in time, if it were possible, and you could go back in time and dish out some advice to your 18-year-old self, what would that sound like?
Whenever I was 18, I had absolutely no idea what to do, honestly, because the careers advice wasn't quite the same back then. It was either doctor, teacher, lawyer. Now I hear of all these amazing jobs like sound technician. There was no talk of a sound technician when I was at school. I was applying for psychology, and then I took a year out, and then I did social work. I really didn't know what to do. So I think the best advice to myself would be is it'll all be okay. You'll get there. And working off the experience I had, and all that, I had about 13 different jobs by the time I was 20. So that experience definitely helped me set up Ivory and Pearl too.
And let's fast forward, Kate. Now let's fast forward another, say, 5 years. So it's what, 2029. What does Ivory and Pearl look like then?
Ivory and Pearl, then my children will all be at school. and I will definitely have a lot more time to focus on the business and maybe even open up another business. I really love business, I have to say, and getting that balance to spend it with my children at the minute is amazing, but also I definitely would love to open up something else, something that's maybe alongside, well, definitely alongside Ivory and Pearl, but what I was going to say, another something in the wedding industry maybe as well. I think sometimes when you're in an industry, it's good to stay in that industry because you know so much about it already.
And if people have liked what they've heard and would like to sort of have a look at the business or reach out, or maybe, my goodness, maybe even book an appointment to buy a dress, what would be the best way for them to go about that, Kate?
Yes, well, our website is just ivoryandpearl.com, and you can, contact us there or email us at hello@ivoryandpearl.com, or even our Instagram, give us a follow, would be great, at Ivory and Pearl as well on Instagram and TikTok.
Fantastic. Well, Kate Spears from Ivory and Pearl, thanks very much for taking the time to speak with me today. My knowledge of the bridal business has gone up exponentially since we started talking. But thanks very much. It's a great story. I wish you congratulations, first of all, for 12 years in business. And I wish you all the success for what we've got left of the quiet bit, I guess, of this year for you and into 2012 and beyond. Kate, thanks very much indeed.
No problem. Thank you so much for having me.